which have been affected the most, as we see.
All right, talk about the American business. Suryakant, you're the man who is based out of New York, and looking at all that, what Ram is saying, what Chandra told me just a short while before, it looks like it's so difficult to get the pulse of the nation right there. Why is it that we are not being able to do that? Because if you talk to your clients, is it that they are not still believing that the confidence is coming back? It's all kind of flaky. You're going by rescue package to rescue package.
I think what we are seeing is there are some signs which show recovery. Some green shoots that you see in the market. You also see that the retail sector, the consumer confidence returning a little bit. But at the same time, when you see that the jobless rate, is going up, there are other signs that the economy is still hurting. At the same time, there's some of the companies that you saw the results coming out last week. Some of the BFS companies have shown some good results. So I would say there are signs which are still mixed, and we still need to watch the situation carefully.
You talked about green shoots. Somebody told me when you talk about green shoots, remember the soil that the shoots are going to grow in. Is the soil still looking very weak? We don't really know which way the economy in general is going.
I think the economy in general, you see a number of surveys coming out. It appears that the economy would grow, but still not certain, and there are signs that it will be a few years. Actually, next year will be better. That's what we hear. And then some of the survey says that it will be a few years before the economy returns to health.
All right, those are the noises which make your life very scary, Maha, and very tough as well at the same time. Pricing pressure we hear about. We hear about more hires to keep up the global image, and we have seen some help coming in thanks to the forex as well as some other income component. How troublesome is going to be your waters?
No, first I want to say that while Suri has said all this, we hold him to his own original target, and I don't think he's out of that target. And the first quarter
he's not wriggling out of it.
No, and the first quarter has gone quite well. The pricing pressure, we faced a lot of it last year, and then while it continues in specific clients and so on, lots of renegotiations were also done last year. That's the reason why at the beginning of this year we said that we expect it to be in the low single digits. Okay, so
by how much has it come down though on average? I mean, how do you gauge?
You have to keep watching the situation in terms of the number of renegotiations that have gone on and so on. Substantial ones were done last year. A substantial number of them, some of the large clients.
And that affected the first quarter this time round?
That affected the last quarter, Q4, because you saw the numbers there.
Right.
And then, because if I conclude anything during a quarter, the full effect is really seen in the next quarter.
Right.
And then it continues. And as far as this quarter is concerned, it has been relatively stable. Volume, of course, is one factor which we need to take into account. And there again, if you really take that overall picture, it's about 3.5% in this quarter, which was considered to be a reasonably difficult quarter to work on. All that we are saying is that we don't expect any volume increases to take place. It's a flat one, and then we'll see the situation as we go along. In this kind of environment, as Ram said, efficiency is the critical one, and actions that had been taken earlier, whether it is, even when I did the NDTV show with Tuhina earlier, we talked about a number of levers that we have and so on, and those are the levers that have started delivering.
In some ways, rupee is a big help, at least for the time being. I mean, the way it has gone off, you benefited a lot.
No, rupee has not really been.
No, in the sense that rupee has been a factor in the overall scheme of things.
That is right. Rupee has been a factor, but if you really take the rupee in this quarter, it was a very interesting quarter in the sense that it was a quarter of dollar depreciation.
Right.
And dollar depreciation against the rupee. So we saw the rupee appreciating, dollar depreciating a lot more against the pound and euro and so on, and we had some benefits in that process and so on. So ultimately it became reasonably neutral as far as rupee is concerned, but rupee is to be watched. We really don't know which direction it is going.
And you can't really talk of a hedging strategy starting now.
When the environment is volatile, when rupee has been depreciating and so on, that itself is a natural insurance, and we are all essentially ensuring, nothing more than that.
You've gone on record in the past saying 25% margin, if it doesn't come through, I'm not a happy guy, and this time, obviously, you seem quite happy still this morning.
We are still about,
just by about 0.2 or
17 basis points less than that.
So, I mean, how do you see that? I mean, that becoming tougher, you'll continue to be unhappier?
No, at the beginning of the year, we said we should maintain the overall margin of last quarter and so on. And while one would see these ups and downs, there is a revenue factor, there is a cost factor and so on. Cost, we are attempting to keep it under control. You talked about these employees. They will join to as we go along in the next 3 quarters. Ajay would have talked to you about it. And therefore, there will be an additional pressure that is coming in, which we need to take through both volume increase if it is possible, if not possible through efficiency.
It is still better if it comes offshore rather than onshore because your cost component goes up there. Ram, just to wrap this up, at a difficult time like this, obviously you don't want to get out on for the entire operation, so you will need to continue to have lend a helping hand.
No, from a position on the board and having a knowledge of the company for the last so many years, certainly wherever help is needed, I'll be the first one to pitch in. But by governance, when you retire, you need to not interfere in the operations of the company. That's the correct thing to do and the right thing to do.
Is this one of the toughest phases for TCS in your lifetime?
I think so, because of the world economic conditions and the kind of problems we have seen. This is one of the toughest. I did articulate 2 or 3 scenarios which happened. One was the growth when year 2K happened, then the boom when the internet happened, then the bust which happened, job losses which took place because of the internet bust. Then we have had certain visa issues along the way, and the industry had to confront that. To me, it has been a lot of learning to grow, to scale up, to demonstrate how we can relate to the customers in a global model. But finally, when the job losses are there, and such job losses are there, this is the first time the industry has contracted. So it is the toughest time in a way, and you are absolutely correct.
Well, we are waiting for the markets to react the way they are going to open, but a quick thing, what's the worst of scenario we should be prepared for? You mentioned the word like bad debt in the past as well. What's the worst of situation we should be prepared for?
I think the only thing you should be prepared for is don't be surprised if there are some shocks along the way. It's not that it will be continuous shocks, but there will be some shocks along the way. Manufacturing, high-tech and telecommunications needs to be watched. But look for those opportunities and focus for the long term rather than just for the immediate quarter.
All right, I'm sure investors believe you and have full faith in you. We'll find that out as we go ahead, at least for today's trading. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, Ram. Good luck to you in the future as well. We'll be catching up with you soon. Maha, as always, and Suryakant, good talking to you. Thanks so much and best of luck in New York to get those American businesses. We are going back to our studios with Prashant Nair.